Hey everyone, Matt here. I want to have a quick conversation about the way that I play the piano. It's a little bit unique. It's not unique to me, right? I didn't invent it, but most people play the piano by reading the music and seeing the notes, and they play all the right notes. And I'm actually not trained on the piano, so I don't really know how to do that very well. And if you're playing Bach or Beethoven, you kind of got to do that, right? So figure that out. But if you just want to play like some Neil Diamond or the Beatles or Beach Boys or some pop music that's fun for people to sing along to, what I call campfire style playing the piano, then this method will work really well. And so what I'm going to show you is basically a really easy way to structure your fingers on the keyboard to play chords on the piano. And if you can master it and kind of get a feel for it, then honestly, like, you can play any chord without having to put a whole lot of thought into it. With a guitar, sometimes it's hard. Like with a guitar, you have to crinkle your fingers up in really strange ways. With the piano, it's a little bit easier because you can actually structure your fingers in such a way that the shape of playing chords doesn't really change a whole lot throughout the whole keyboard. You make a few modifications to go from major to minor, or to add in sevenths, or make the chords a little jazzy. Or anyway, all the music theory nerds out there are going to go crazy right now because they're saying, no, there's a million different ways to structure the chords. And yes, you're absolutely right. But for now, I just want to talk to the folks that are interested in playing really simplified versions of songs where the fundamental chords can get you through just about any song. Let's start with a C major. So the traditional form of C major is to start with the C note, and let's start with middle C. Now, before we get any further, I want to explain that when I talk about the notes that are in a scale, I'm going to assign numbers to those notes. And if we're talking about the key of C major, I'm going to make C 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the octave, the other C, is another 1, okay? So you'll hear me reference numbers, and those numbers refer to the placement of the note within the scale of that key. So we're going to do C major, and we're going to talk about some numbers. So the traditional way to play a C major chord is to play 1, 3, 5. They call that a triad. 1, 3, 5. The 3 is the part that makes it major. If we were to play C minor, we would change the 3, but the 1 and the 5 would stay the same, okay? So that is a C major chord. Now, you can play the C major chord by playing C, E, G, or there's this thing called an inversion where you can take the same exact notes, but mix them up and play them in a different order, okay? So instead of C, E, G, we'll play those same 3 notes, but we'll play it in this order: E, G, C. That's called the first inversion. You can also do it by playing G, C, E. That's the second inversion, okay? So there's 3 different ways to play that C major chord. Cool. Now let's talk about the left hand for a second. Again, if we're playing the C major chord, we could do the normal thing and do C, E, G. And if we were to do that with both hands, it would sound like this. Okay, that's fine. What I do, though, is I actually change the structure a little bit. With the left hand, I like to play 1, 5, 1. Now what's missing? I'm not playing the third note there. I'm not playing the E at all. So this is giving me structure to the C major chord. But the reason why I do this, it's really important, is that when I play 1, 5, 1, and then with my right hand, if I play the 3, 5, 1, you put it all together and it sounds like a nice, rich C major chord. Now, if I were to change it to C minor, all I have to do with this structure is change my thumb. Instead of playing this note, it's going to play that note. Everything else stays exactly the same. 1, 5, 1, minor, 5, 1. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is that watch me play a few different chords across the keyboard. What you'll see, if you pay really close attention, is that the shape of my fingers and the shape of the way that I'm playing this chord stays almost identical everywhere that I go. If I were to play C major, there it is. If I were to play F major, there it is. How about G major? There it is. So with very little motion, I can play different chords. Or I can play an A minor, E minor, D minor, back to C major. Okay, so now that we've got that chord structure defined on the keyboard, let's see if we can put it together into a song in the key of C major that makes sense using that same chord structure for the whole thing without any fancy changes to that. And, you know, let me know if you recognize the song. That wasn't so hard, was it? Anyway, that's it. So hopefully that wasn't too painful, but give it a go and try it out and shoot me a note. Let me know how it goes for you. Thanks.